Thanks for watching the Council in Brief. I'm Susan Kennedy. We're here with a complete summary of all the news of the Montgomery County Council for this last week in June. We begin this week with a bill that would create a two-tier disability retirement system for all county employees. This new system would be identical to the current system for fire and rescue employees. The bill was introduced as the result of a critical examination of the system by the county's Inspector General. Councilmember Phil Andrews was one of the sponsors of the original legislation that was introduced back in 2008.
This will reform our disability retirement system so it makes sense, so the Disability Review Panel can distinguish between a bad back and paralysis and award the appropriate benefit. Most of the claims that are put in for orthopedic conditions like a bad shoulder, bad knee, bad back that are not fully disabling, and yet the benefit that's been awarded to this point and will be for a little while longer in those cases is a full disability benefit level of 66 2/3 of salary tax-free. So this will set up a two-tier system for all county employees, and not just members of the employee organizations of the unions, but for managers too.
In other news, a work session on a health regulation prohibiting smoking in common areas of multiple family residential dwellings and playground areas. It's expected the measure will affect some 1,200 properties. Councilmember George Leventhal introduced the measure to close a loophole that still allows people to come into contact with secondhand smoke where they live and socialize.
These are all in response to complaints from constituents that they are being exposed to secondhand smoke in settings that they can't avoid. If you live in a multi-unit apartment building, you have to walk through the hallway, you have to get through the lobby, and it really isn't a hardship on the smoker to refrain from smoking in areas like that where other people will be exposed to their smoke. So this does not affect people's individual living units. If smokers persist in smoking in their home, this does not affect that, and I don't think it's a particular hardship to refrain from smoking during the period of time that you're on a playground.
When Councilmember Craig Rice took office, he pledged to make Clarksburg a priority during his term. This week, Mr. Rice held his second meeting with the residents of Clarksburg to discuss future plans for the community. Residents got an update on topics that were brought up at his first meeting back in January, as well as other developments on issues relevant to Clarksburg.
The master plan amendment that we're going to be taking up later on this evening or later on this afternoon, it's going to be extremely important in terms of trying to bring grocery and retail to Clarksburg. So people are excited about that, and also about Stringtown Road and the improvements that have already happened, as well as those that are proposed to happen and be completed by the end of July. And so folks are very excited to see things that are moving, but they're also concerned about some of the proposals that we have before them. One of them that creates the new development district tax, the special taxing district for both Clarksburg Village and Aurora Hills, and just want to make sure that they're actually getting a good bang for their buck in terms of that the money that they're going to be outlaying goes to infrastructure that's going to be important for them.
And finally, members of the Wood Acres 3rd and 5th grade teams were recognized by the council for taking first place in the Odyssey of the Mind competition. Team members trained for weeks for this problem-solving competition. Participants came from all over the U.S. and other countries to the University of Maryland, where the competition took place.
It feels good. I mean, we worked on it a few days a week. We'd stay for an hour and a half a day after school, and we'd always keep working on it, and we'd change what we did. And it takes a lot of work, but it's really great when you get to feel good about it in the end.
I like that it incorporates creativity, and I like because you go to a world competition if you get the first 2 places, and I like that every Wood Acres team got to go to Worlds.
Well, that does it for this edition of the Council in Brief. For County Cable Montgomery, I'm Susan Kennedy. Thanks for tuning in.